Most guys think eye contact is about willpower, locking eyes and refusing to look away like it's some kind of staring contest they need to win. That's not what makes a woman actually feel it. Real eye contact works completely differently than most men assume. It has nothing to do with forcing yourself to hold a stare. It comes from somewhere else entirely, a state of mind she can feel before you even say a word. Calm, present, comfortable in your own skin without needing to prove anything. That energy travels across a room faster than any pickup line ever could. She senses it before she can even explain what she's sensing. Most men get this backwards from the start. They think eye contact is the cause of attraction, so they force it, stare too hard, and end up looking intense instead of confident. But eye contact was never the cause of anything. It's a symptom, a byproduct of something deeper happening internally. When that internal state is right, the eye contact takes care of itself. You don't have to remind yourself to hold her gaze or count seconds in your head like some kind of test. It just happens naturally, the same way your posture straightens when you're genuinely relaxed instead of trying to look relaxed. That's the version of eye contact that actually works on women, and it's the version almost nobody teaches. Today I'm breaking down exactly how to build that internal state from the ground up. No tricks, no staring contests, just the real mechanics behind a gaze that women actually feel. Holding a gaze isn't about refusing to blink or forcing yourself to stare. Most guys treat eye contact like an endurance test, something to survive rather than something to feel. That mindset is exactly why it feels so unnatural to them. The real skill has nothing to do with your eyes at all. It starts somewhere else completely. It starts with being mentally present instead of living inside your own head. When you're anxious, your mind races through a dozen thoughts at once. What should I say next? Did that sound weird? Is she bored right now? Every one of those thoughts pulls your eyes away from hers without you even noticing. That's why anxious men break eye contact so quickly. It was never about a lack of skill or not knowing where to look. Their attention simply isn't in the room anymore. It's stuck in their own head, replaying and predicting instead of experiencing the moment in front of them. A calm gaze communicates something completely different, and it does it without a single word. It says, I'm comfortable here. I'm not rushing this moment or trying to control it. There's nothing performative about it, which is exactly why it reads as genuine instead of forced. A nervous gaze sends the opposite signal, whether you mean it to or not. It says, I need something from you right now. Approval, reassurance, some sign that this is going well. Women pick up on that difference instantly, even if they couldn't explain exactly why. Attraction gets tested in small moments most men never notice. She teases you, challenges something you said, or goes quiet in a way that feels loaded. What you do with your eyes in that exact second matters more than almost anything else. It's a tiny window, but it reveals everything about your emotional state. Most men fail it without realizing they failed it at all. When she pushes and you hold eye contact instead of flinching, it signals something powerful. It says her words don't control your state, that you're grounded regardless of what she throws at you. That kind of stability is rare, which is exactly why it stands out so much. Women are constantly testing for it, whether consciously or not. Breaking eye contact under that kind of tension has a cost most guys don't see coming. It's not just an awkward moment that passes and gets forgotten. It's the loss of what you could call the frame, the sense that you're steady and unaffected. Once that frame slips, it's difficult to fully get back in that same interaction. Holding steady through those moments turns you into something specific in her mind. You become the emotional fixed point in the conversation, the person things orbit around instead of the other way. That role isn't claimed through words or clever comebacks. It's claimed silently through how your eyes respond when things get slightly uncomfortable. This is why emotional control matters so much more than most confidence advice suggests. It's not about being unshakable or emotionless all the time. It's about staying present and steady in the specific seconds when most men look away first. That single habit does more for attraction than almost any line you could say. There's a difference between a gaze that's intense and a gaze that's genuine, and most men never learn to tell them apart. One comes from trying to prove something, forcing intensity because someone told them, eye contact equals confidence. The other comes from simply being at ease with who you are. They can look almost identical from the outside, but women feel the difference immediately. A forced stare usually comes with tension you can't fully hide. Tight jaw, unblinking eyes, a kind of pressure behind the look like you're working hard to hold it. It might even feel intense in the moment, but intensity isn't the same thing as attraction. More often than not, it reads as try-hard energy instead of genuine confidence. A relaxed gaze operates completely differently, almost effortlessly by comparison. The eyes stay soft instead of locked. The face stays natural instead of performing seriousness. There's no internal effort being spent trying to hold the moment together. It simply exists, the same way your breathing exists without you managing it consciously. That difference comes down to authenticity more than technique or eye muscle control. A woman can sense when someone is performing confidence versus when someone is simply comfortable. Performed confidence has an edge to it, something slightly off that her intuition catches. Genuine comfort has no edge at all, which is exactly what makes it magnetic. Being at ease with yourself is what makes eye contact sustainable without effort. You stop needing to manage your expression or monitor how intense you look. The gaze becomes a side effect of your internal state instead of a task you're performing. That's the version of confidence that actually gets felt instead of just noticed. Most men think mystery comes from what you say or don't say, the information you hold back in conversation, but some of the strongest mystery happens silently, through nothing but your eyes. Holding a gaze slightly longer than what feels standard creates a subtle kind of tension. It's small, almost unnoticeable, but she registers it on some level. That extra half second isn't about staring her down or making it weird. It's about resisting the urge to look away the instant it starts feeling intense. Most men break the gaze too early because the tension feels uncomfortable to sit inside. Sitting in that discomfort just slightly longer is where the actual effect happens. Mystery through the eyes isn't really about staring at all, despite how it sounds. It's about the pauses, the specific rhythm of looking, breaking away, and returning. Look at her, glance away with intention rather than nervousness, then return your eyes again. That rhythm creates a kind of pull that constant, unbroken staring never manages to create. When you do this well, she starts to feel like she's being read on some level. Not in a way that feels invasive or uncomfortable, but noticed in a way that's rare. Most people go through their day barely looked at, let alone actually seen. That feeling of being read is what keeps her attention locked on you. This is the part most men skip completely, focused only on holding eye contact itself. They treat it as one long, unbroken stare instead of understanding rhythm. But rhythm is exactly what separates a gaze that feels intense from one that feels intriguing. Master that rhythm and the mystery starts working for you. A man with real direction in his life carries himself differently, even in silence. He's not constantly scanning the room for validation or checking how he's being perceived. His attention isn't split between the conversation and his own insecurity. That singular focus changes everything about how his eyes behave without him trying. Most men who struggle with eye contact are unconsciously asking a question with their eyes. Am I doing this right? Does she like me? Is this going well so far? That underlying question leaks through the gaze, making it feel searching instead of settled, needy instead of grounded. A man with purpose isn't asking that question in the first place. His sense of value doesn't come from her reaction in this specific moment. It comes from somewhere more stable, built long before this conversation ever started. That stability is exactly what makes his gaze feel steady instead of searching. His gaze doesn't ask for approval because it was never built to seek it. It simply observes, taking her in the same way he'd take in anything else interesting. There's no performance in it, no hidden request buried underneath the look. Just presence, unattached to whatever happens next in the interaction. That kind of gaze communicates something most words never could on their own. It says, I don't need this to go a certain way to be okay. Not arrogance, not indifference, just genuine security that doesn't depend on her response. Purpose builds that security long before you ever make eye contact with anyone. Too much intensity in a gaze tips into something that feels aggressive rather than attractive. It stops feeling like confidence and starts feeling like pressure, like he's trying to dominate the moment. Most women pick up on that shift almost instantly, even if they can't name exactly what changed. The line between magnetic and uncomfortable is thinner than most men realize. Too little intensity creates the opposite problem, though it's just as damaging in its own way. A gaze that's constantly darting away reads as insecurity, no matter how good the conversation is going. It doesn't matter what you're saying if your eyes are quietly telling a different story. Words and eye contact need to match, or one of them gets believed over the other. The actual sweet spot lives somewhere between those two extremes most men never find. Firm presence paired with softness in the eyes, strength without any edge to it. It communicates safety rather than pressure, invitation rather than intensity. That combination is rare enough that most men land on one side or the other by default. Firm presence means your eyes don't flinch away under normal conversational tension. Softness means there's no hardness behind them, nothing that feels like a challenge or a test. Together, they create a gaze that feels grounded without ever feeling like it's closing in on her. That balance is what actually makes someone feel safe enough to open up. This is the sweet spot most men never find because they only train one half of the equation. They either work on holding eye contact longer or work on being less intense, rarely both together. Real magnetism lives in the balance, not in maximizing either strength or softness alone. Once you find that balance, everything about how women respond to you starts to shift. Eye contact was never really about the eyes themselves, no matter how it looks on the surface. Every point in this video traces back to something happening internally first. Calmness, emotional control, quiet confidence, purpose, balance between strength and softness. The gaze is simply where all of that becomes visible to another person. That's why trying to fix eye contact directly rarely works for most men. You can practice holding a stare in the mirror for hours and it still won't feel real. The gaze isn't the problem to solve, it's the symptom of whatever's happening underneath it. Fix the internal state, and the eye contact resolves itself without forcing anything. None of this is a trick or a technique to memorize and perform on command. It's a reflection of who you actually are in that specific moment with her. Calm instead of anxious, steady instead of searching, grounded instead of needing something from her. When those things are real, the eyes simply follow along naturally. That raises the next obvious question most men don't know how to answer. Once your eye contact is right, how do you actually know if she's responding to it? Whether she's returning that interest or just being politely normal in a conversation. Most men misread this constantly, seeing interest that isn't there or missing it when it is. That's exactly what the next video breaks down in complete detail. The specific signs that show she's genuinely engaged versus just being friendly out of habit. How her own eye contact, body language, and small behaviors reveal what she's actually feeling. Watch that next to make sure you're not missing signals that are already right in front of you. If this actually shifted how you think about eye contact, that's exactly the kind of thing this channel is built around. Real psychology, not gimmicks or one-liners that sound good but don't work in real conversations. Every video breaks down the internal shifts that actually change how women respond to you. Not surface-level tricks, the actual mechanics underneath them. Hit subscribe if you want more of this and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. New videos drop breaking down exactly this kind of thing: body language, attraction psychology, real conversation dynamics. It takes 2 seconds, and it means you'll catch every video the moment it goes live. Small step, but it makes a real difference for the channel.